Hello, everybody. Before I can share anything about myself, I would just like to first and foremost extend my sincere gratitude for being given such a privilege as this to share my story. And I certainly hope by the end of this video or at the end of the day, you will certainly get something and learn something. And above all else, be motivated and encouraged. My name is Wyman Chisanga. I'm currently 21 years old. I'm almost a final year civil engineering student here in India, studying under the Institute of Gujarati Technological University that is located in Ahmedabad, India. And a little bit about myself is that I'm a writer, or at least I love to believe so. I enjoy writing poetry, short stories, inspirational and motivational pieces as well, just to mention a few. And I do art from time to time. So I will begin the story this way. I completed my high school education in the year 2015, and as per the norm in Zambia, you're supposed to wait for a little bit over a year for you to get admission in the best universities, be it the Copperbelt University or the University of Zambia. But I had a different aim at the end of the day. I wanted to get a scholarship to study abroad. I wanted to do this for a number of reasons, one of them being just to lessen the financial burden on my parents. At least if they had one less person to worry about, it would be better for my siblings. So I started researching and I started pushing. When China advertised, I applied for it, and if I remember correctly, they needed a very less number of people. I think 50, if I remember to recall very well. So I had extremely low expectations for that one, just to avoid disappointment, because I knew to say there were so many people that did better than I did. So I applied for it, and obviously I was not selected, which was completely okay with me. At least I had gained the knowledge that I needed on how to go about the process. So when Russia advertised, they required at least a bigger number, like a larger number of people. So I applied for Russia, and I was selected to do the interviews. The interviews went okay, but unfortunately I was not selected for that one, and so it left me really confused during that period, and I began questioning God, asking God to okay, what do you want, when it came to my academic life, or what were your plans? Like I just thought, God, you know that I really want to study abroad, and I have given you a number of reasons on why I want to do so. So if you could please tell me why, and I'll be really grateful. So I just arrived at that place in life, and I just became really skeptical about a lot of things. But I really thank God, because He made things a lot clearer for me, and I'm really grateful for that. So the following year, I if I'm being honest, I really lost hope when it came to scholarships, and I just started applying the same University of Zambia and the Copperbelt University. So to my surprise, the following year, the embassy called me. In fact, no, the bursaries committee called me in Zambia. They kept my name for some reasons, and they called me to say, okay, we remember you from last year, you did interviews, but you were not selected. So we've got this Indian scholarship going on. If you're interested, please let us know so that you can attend the interviews next week. And I did not apply for that one. And I was really grateful and humbled to go, like, okay, so this is how you work. I remember being really happy, and when my dad told me, I was just ecstatic. That's just how much grateful I was. So I accepted. In the position that I was, very few people can say no. So I attended the interviews, everything went well, and I was selected to study civil engineering. I was really excited. I don't really have words that can prove just how much excited I was. So we went to the Indian embassy to be briefed about the whole process, on how we'll go about it and when we'll leave. Yeah. So we went there, and we discussed on it. The man told us on how we can go about it. But there is one thing that he said, that that put this worry on me. He said, he was telling my dad this, and I was in the room. He said, if your son fails when he goes to study, he will have to come back to Zambia, and not only will he have to come back, but you will have to refund us, meaning you're supposed to pay back everything that will spend on your son, be it the travel, the travel costs, the accommodation, everything. You just have to pay back. My dad says, okay, I know my boy, I trust him. And I was like, huh? And I started to worry. That was before leaving. I started to worry. I was like, okay, where I'm going, I'm supposed to be serious, because if I just mess up, this will become a burden. So everything was okay. I arrived in India, and I started my studies. Now this is where the problem began, the actual real problem. So I started studying in civil engineering first year. Everything was new. It was a complete new experience for me, being in a different country, different accents, different language, and different food. It was really, really hard for me. So we started the lessons. If I'm being honest, that was one of the toughest experiences of my life, because I just found it really hard for me to comprehend anything that was being taught in class, and particularly math. And the way Indians grade is that each subject has what they call credits. Different subjects have different credits, and math just happened to have a high credit, in that when you get less marks in math, it affects your overall results. You see, so I just got really worried. In other words, my grades dropped drastically, and my performance was really bad, such that I had to take a good number of remedial examinations just to try and recover my marks and do other extra credit works, if I may call them that, just to boost some marks. I remember there's this one time I even walked up to the library just to cry to God, because I was really hurting inside, and I had nobody to talk to here in India. There was always people I could call from home, but it's a bit different when you're talking to somebody in person. I had no one like that here. So it was usually just me and God there, just talking. I would just talk to God. And one of the few things that saved me during this period, and just that helped me and encouraged me, was just writing. Whenever I would feel low, whenever I would feel sad, whenever I would feel depressed, I would write. I would just get a piece of paper and start writing. And it's during this period that I really improved my poetry. During this period. So I tried by all means to get books and study, just try to improve, but nothing happened. Like, my results were still the same. I'll never forget, it was in November on my birthday. It so happened that was the day they were giving us our test results for calculus math, and I failed. It was really bad, because that was the first birthday I ever spent far away from my home. So I was a little bit homesick, and to add up to the wound, to add salt to the wound, I failed. So I remember I was in the cafeteria while everybody was in class after lunch, and a good friend of mine called me. She was really helpful during this period. She called me. She's like, Wyman, how are you? I was like, I'm okay, though I'm not in class. I explained the whole situation, like I'm trying, nothing is working out, and if I fail, everything will just be ruined. So she just starts encouraging me here and there, not until she talked me into attending class that day, and I did attend it. I attended class, and I continued, and she continued encouraging me during the course of the study, and she really helped me. A lot of my friends did, because I never really isolated myself, because if I did, I think I would have been depressed. And that's one thing I discovered, to say, it's out of relationships that we tend to grow, that we tend to help each other. It's funny how we underestimate just the power of what relationships can do. These family ties and these friendship bonds that we have. I mean, it's really amazing. So I talked to a number of people during that period, including my parents as well, and I would tell them to say, okay, this is happening, and if I fail, I mean, this and this will happen. But they continuously encouraged me. And now when I look back at those moments, one thing becomes really evident to me. It's the relationships that I share with my family and friends that helped me get through that tough period. Had it not been for them just listening to me and encouraging me, I think I would have turned out differently. I think I would have been sad, I think I would have been depressed, and I think I would not even have improved. But for the fact that they were willing to listen and to give their ear and just to utter the few words of encouragement, I mean, they might not know this, but they helped me in ways that I never really thought I could be helped. So I was just really grateful. So in moments when you're overtaken by emotions, be it you're sad or you're depressed, I think it's only right that you should find someone with whom you can share, somebody you trust. And if you have no one to share to, I mean, God is there and He's always been there, and that's the good thing. It's really surprising that God knows what you're about to say, yet He still desires to listen and to hear you say it. I mean, that's one of the best feelings ever. So in such times, I think it's only right that you should share with somebody, and trust me, it really, really helps a lot. So I thought of sharing this story because I think majority of the audience that watches these videos are people of my age, be it teenagers or people in the early 20s, and I think this video will definitely help you. So thank you so much for listening, and stay blessed.